Hi everyone, it's Don from Don's Family Vacation, and this week we're going to talk about a Disney river cruise. That's right, not their main cruise ships with the four ships they have, the Disney Dream, Wonder, etc. But they've teamed up with the river cruise AMA Waterways, one of my favorite river cruise lines. Them and Viking are probably the number one cruise line for river cruises out there. But they've teamed up with them with Adventures by Disney to offer family river cruises. So yeah, the one thing that most people know if you're a river cruise is almost every ship is geared towards only adults, as the staterooms are fairly small and they only basically hold two people, and there's no pull-out sofa or anything like that. So Disney made AMA Waterways build a couple ships or refit a ship to accommodate families in some of their suites, and that's the big difference between a Disney river cruise and other river cruises. And we're going to take a look at the ship, and we're going to take a look at the size of staterooms, and we're going to take a look at some of the things that they do on these cruises that make Disney stand out from other river cruises right after this. One of the biggest shocks that most people get and don't quite understand is that when you're going on a river cruise instead of an ocean cruise, you're going from a ship this size of Disney to a ship this size. So it's a much more smaller ship, and you're not going to have any grand ballrooms or movie theaters or wave riders or climbing walls or anything like that on board any of these ships. But being on a smaller ship can be impressive on its own. These ships are top of the line, well appointed. There's not a ugly spot on these ships. They're modern, they have all the amenities you can think of. They're built for comfort, and almost every part of the ship has a view of all the passing scenery that you're going to be going by. And after all, when you go on a river cruise and you're going on the Danube with all the castles and the history that's around in the small towns, the scenery is really what makes you want to go on a river cruise, and the cultures of all the towns that you're going to be visiting. As you can see here, the lounge areas and the dining lounge areas are all, well, they have banquettes, they have tables, it's quite comfortable, it's quite roomy. There's lots of space for everybody on board. The deck space is really fantastic because you have this little spot in the back. I wish it kind of went out to the back, but you understand that's where they have the radar and etc. for the ships and the tying off buoys. But imagine if this could go out just a little further. It's covered in case it rains, and you can just watch everything go by. And it's just a beautiful place to just sit and watch. And if you're traveling during the day, that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to be either on that deck or on the top decks. And let's take a look at the top decks. Coming up here shortly is something you don't see on very many river cruises, and that's one of the things that the Disney and AMA Waterway stand out. You can see here on the right, there's a small little pool, which is perfect to keep the kids occupied while you watch the scenery and everything going by and relaxing with a glass of wine. They can cool off in the pool and play with friends and other kids that are on there. There's a little chessboard up there that kids can play, but basically it's meant to sit, relax, watch the scenery going by, and give you some space away from your small staterooms, because trust me, the staterooms are fairly small. But on the flip side, you can see the rest of the ship is fairly spacious because there's not a lot of people on board. These ships only hold between 100 and 200 people, and that leaves you lots of top deck space to just sit, stretch, and relax. And if you don't have any kids, it's still plenty of places to go and be by yourself where kids aren't running around and disturbing you. So it's a good mixture for adults, kids, young families, etc. So again, lots of space on decks to stretch out and watch the scenery go by. And just take a look at the scenery here. It's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. I love the Danube for all the things that you see, the castles and the mountains. On the other hand, the staterooms, not so much space. Look how much small and squeezy this is. This is one of the lower categories. They're very nicely appointed, very nice shower, but they're tiny, very, very tiny. And try and get a family into that, forget about it. The next size up isn't much bigger, just a little bit more leg room. Not a lot. Again, well appointed, but not the best. You also don't have a balcony. There's another step up category where you have French balconies, which are basically a landing ledge across your window, so you can open up your window, get fresh air, but you're not stepping out onto a balcony, and the shower is just slightly bigger. Now, if you step yourself up to a balcony suite or something along those lines, then you're talking an awful lot of money, but you do get that one bedroom area kind of thing that you can step aside from. The showers and the bathroom are quite a bit larger, as you can see here, and they're the only ones that have a bathtub. So if you're traveling with younger children that you want to bathe instead of shower, then these are probably the suites you're going to look for. So you say to me, Don, yes, the ships are very nice. They're set up more for families. Families can go on them, lots of deck space, but why am I paying that premium dollar to go on this cruise compared to other cruises? Well, they have the Disney name behind them, which means they can do a lot of things out there and get away with an awful lot of things. They do an awful lot of cooking shows, and they don't just bring up adults, they involve the kids in the cooking demonstration, which, I mean, if you take a look at the smile on this young girl's face, just look how happy she is up there. She's enjoying herself. She's learning a new skill, and she's learning to appreciate fine dining and really good cooking, and learning to cook for yourself as opposed to going to McDonald's or Kentucky Fried Chicken. Adventure by Disney also has private shows. For instance, we went and saw this big public marionette show, and then we were brought, when the rest of the people left, into the back and met the marionette, and we got to see some custom-made, handmade marionettes by the designer of the show, which you just don't get with other cruises. And then we also got a back tour where we could see all the different handmade marionette dolls that they made. We could purchase some of them if we want. They were very pricey because they're all handmade and one of a kind. It's little things like that that make Disney, Adventures by Disney, and river cruises stand out. Again, a lot of things Adventure by Disney, it's all geared towards young families and kids, but adults can enjoy it too. Just take a listen to this private concert we got on one of the stops. So quickly, what are some of the other advantages? Well, Disney has connecting staterooms, which is great when you have to book more. If you have like 5 people in your family and you need an extra stateroom, you can get connected staterooms. Another thing is they do have not so much a sleeper sofa, unless you're in the suites, but they do have a sleeper chair that'll open up, which is perfect for young children around, anywhere under the age of 11 can sleep on them quite comfortably. And it's a great way to add a child into one single stateroom where you don't have to buy 2. Other cruise lines just tend not to have these things. They're geared towards adults only. All of the things that they do, some of the guides on Adventure by Disney, your children become their best friends, these guides. You'll see them walking around, they're holding hands, they're looking for them when they wake up in the morning. That's how attached some of the children can get to some of these guides, because they're fantastic with children. And that is a big plus when you're talking about going on a culture trip with your kids. Because let's face it, a lot of museums and churches and castles and things like that, after a while it can get boring for young children. But having guides who know how to keep them entertained is a big plus. And that's one of the things that you're paying for when you're going on a Disney River cruise. Another thing is, one of the things I loved is we were sitting outside one of the castles in Germany that we were about to go visit, and there was like 25 different cruise groups around, and tour groups and things like that, getting ready, waiting for their turn to go into the castle. And we basically got off the bus, met our guide, our local guide with our guides from the cruise, and they escorted us straight through. That's some of the power that the Disney name brings, that they get priority to a lot of these things. And like I said, There's private showings and things like that that you don't get from other river cruises, and that's why you're paying the premium price to do these things. So to cap it off, you have ships that are built for families, lots of spaces, there's activities on board for kids. They include kids in all their tours and activities, and they gear them a little bit towards them to keep them entertained. The guides are fantastic. The ships are clean, modern. They're not a cruise ship on the ocean, but for a river cruise, they're probably one of the premier cruise lines out there. The destinations are fantastic. The big drawback is the price. I was pricing it for myself and my granddaughter, and my price for a 7-day cruise was $9,000 US. For $9,000 US, I can go on 3, maybe 4 cruises with my granddaughters through in the Caribbean and Barbados and Bahamas and things like that. So be prepared. You're gonna pay some premium prices. Everything's included though. Your tours are included, your food is included, your drinks are included. So keep that in mind as well. You don't have to pay like you do on some of the ocean cruises where they're gonna upcharge you for this and upcharge you for that. Everything is included, including the tours. So that's a big benefit. If you go on 7 tours on a river cruise with 2 people, that can well run you over $1,000 and some dollars alone, and these are included in the Disney River Cruises. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea about what you can expect on a Disney River Cruise. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more tip videos and more travel videos, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to hear from you, and any comments or questions you might have about anything in our topics, please leave them. I'll get back to you right away. As most of my subscribers out there know, I check YouTube like 50 times a day right now, and I get back to people usually within an hour or 2 of posing the questions. So until next time, have yourself a great vacation.